Welcome back to the Titanium Entertainment Show. This week we're talking Ocean's 8, Oz Comic Con, new movie, trailers and news.
Fucking really went for that one there. I didn't think we were doing it.
Rip the listeners with their headphones in because they're dead. As you will find out every single week, we do our own music. No, as you'll find out, I probably will tell you because if you didn't, you wouldn't know.
And it's shit every week.
That was smooth as hell. But I am Alex.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Nick.
And we are back for episode 2 of the Titanium Entertainment Show. As you would have heard from the intro about 20 seconds ago, we had a pretty hefty weekend. We went to Oz Comic Con and we also saw Ocean's 8 while up in the city. So we're going to talk about both of those things. But we'll start off with some lighter stuff. We're going to talk about we got some new trailers, some big trailers. I think this has been
lots of trailers this week.
Very big week.
It's week or fortnight?
I reckon a week and a bit we'll give
week
it.
and a day.
I don't think it's I don't think it's been 2 weeks. But we've got a few big uns, and we'll start with we've got a list here, and we'll start with the top Bumblebee trailer. Obviously we're not sure if it's connected or not, but obviously the character is Bumblebee that we know from Transformers, Haley Steinfeld, John Cena. I liked this trailer. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it looks good. I think the thing they're going for is a soft reboot of the series. Yeah. Trying to acknowledge that things probably still exist in the same universe, but at the same time resetting the timeline sort of situation. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I'm really excited to actually see, more than 4% of the movie, other than just like flying bits of metal.
I mean, I enjoyed the first Transformers.
The first one was good, and I'm getting a bit of a first vibe. That's what I'm...
That's the only one that I consider a good movie. I reckon.
I mean, yeah.
I can understand.
2 was a letdown, but still a movie, and the rest were just...
I still enjoy 2 and 3. I know they're not good, but I have fun with 2 and 3.
Yeah,
after that, it kind of gets worse.
See, I was losing it by 3.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I was losing it by.
It was definitely downhill.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the sequels, but this is good because I think it gives a little fresh news. And one thing I like about the Bumblebee trailer is that you can actually see what car Bumblebee is. A lot of these fucking Transformers, what the fuck are you, sir? It's like, we don't know. You clearly know what the Bumblebee is, which I like. I did enjoy. And this movie has potential to be really good, like really good. I think this has potential to be as good as the first one, even better than the first one, because we've got a fresh take. So. No Michael Bay, obviously, is a producer, but how big of an impact is that actually going to play? Because he could just be like, this is my series, I'm going to be a producer. And they're like, okay, Michael, sit in the corner and watch this take place.
Sure. We'll put your name on it. Yeah.
I have a small problem with this, though. Is it too similar to the first movie, as in, like, young teenager finding Bumblebee, starting a relationship with him?
A little bit, but I feel like there's going to be more of a like E.T. feel about it. I feel like it's going to be more like
it's got that
more
sort
of
a, like that. Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be, as much as it is an action movie, I feel like it's going to be less action movie, but more of like a coming of age kind of film. Similar to the way that the new It was not just a horror movie, but it was coming of age film. It was more than just a horror film. I feel like there's going to be more than just an action film. It's going to be something for feels.
That like magically vibe about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying. It's not
my seat a little bit here.
So is the general consensus excited for the film?
Yeah. I am surprisingly excited.
Haley's haircut's a bit weird.
80s.
It's the 80s.
That's true.
We'll give it to her, but it is.
Yeah.
It is.
No, but I'm really looking forward to it. Very nice.
Next one we got How to Train Your Dragon 3. Boy oh
Hidden
boy.
World?
Hidden World is the subtitle, yeah.
Boy. Yeah.
We're filming in my room right now, and if you turn to my left, you'll see why I'm so excited for this movie. I am the biggest fan of those first 2 films. It's a poster, by the way, actually, you guys can't see. I've got a poster from the film, but I love these first 2 films. They're not just animations, they're actually movies that, give you something. And the third, honestly, the trailer didn't knock me out of the park. I think it, with the relationship with Night Fury, what we saw, and the new Light Fury, not even a pun. That is, I think that's what they confirmed.
They call it.
Are they the same species?
Well, I think it's the female and male of the series, so they're the Furies. But they did a lot of comedy, and I was like, but then they brought in the villain, and that's what I'm like, okay, because to me, How to Train Your Dragon isn't just a fun light movie. It actually gives you something, gives you feels, it gives you a nice, like, not actiony feel, but like dramatizes the stuff that's going down, and that's what I like. And I'm scared this movie was going to be too comedy, but towards the end of the trailer, they kind of redeem my hope. So
my thing though,
crossed.
Does it not kind of seem though that the jokes they put in with that are the only jokes in that situation between the 2 dragons?
That's what made me.
It seems like they just showed the whole scene.
I think
happening.
that could very potentially be the 98% of the humor in the movie, and I just like the role reversal between the first movie and the third movie, where now Hiccup gets to be the guiding sort of motivator, and Toothless
he looks badass in his armor and shit now.
He does look
shit.
Did you notice the quick glimpse where he has like a flying suit and he's like a dragon himself?
There's a few things that I'll be interested to see what they do with, because we've seen a bit of the hints at stuff they're going to do in 1 and 2 and what they're doing with the whole dragon world. But this is for sure has the potential to do a lot of stuff because it's a full dragon united world, and I think it could be a really good movie, and I'd be happy to stop at 3. I was happy.
I think they're hinting at that.
I feel like a trilogy's fine.
I think based on what I'm seeing, it's still a fresh take on the story. It's not just a rerun or an extension. I think it's it's validated for what it will be.
Yeah, I think they're building it up though as the final movie in the series.
I think
there could be spin-offs, and
since they've already got Riders of Berk happening, I think they've probably got a really good idea of what they can and can't do. Like putting it there and then knowing they can come back for another movie means that they've still got it under control at the moment.
I think the Riders one, they're on their third incarnation of that show. It's got a completely different name now. Yeah, they've gone through multiple.
Okay.
I don't
know what
it's
happens when
alright.
it gets taken off Australian television.
It's got the same original voice cast, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's always a good sign, isn't it? Yeah.
Which I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think DreamWorks do sequels a shit ton better than Disney do. Not even close.
That's a bit,
Name me a good Disney sequel.
I can, but I don't think it's fair.
Name me a good DreamWorks sequel.
Yeah, there's a few.
Kung Fu Panda, 2 and 3, Shrek's.
Yeah.
Fucking
I mean,
How to
after
Train Your
Shrek
Dragon
2,
2.
after Shrek 2.
But
nailed
you
it.
look at the Shrek 2 even gave you that. Well, what is a good? Give me one good Disney sequel.
Toy Story.
That's Pixar.
Yeah.
I'm talking.
Okay,
I'm giving you
okay,
Pixar.
there we
Pixar are a little bit different, but pure Disney, because Disney and
I was
Pixar are different things.
my
A lot
one
of the
was gonna be
sequels
Toy
though
Story as well.
aren't kind of built up as big movies, like Aladdin sequels and
That's
shit
what
like
I'm saying.
that. Like
That's
just
I think
straight to DVD.
Disney,
Yeah.
as much as they are the same thing, Disney and Pixar are different things.
Yeah.
You're not putting them in. They're in the same business, but you're not saying they're the same movies because they do things a lot differently.
Yeah.
Disney and Pixar are completely different things. Disney generally princesses. They run around that whole fairy tale esque thing, whereas
my thing with that is that
Toy
they
Story's their own
generally
story.
don't do proper
Toy Story,
sequels.
Pixar. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure that's a hot take because it's so obvious, but that's what I'm saying. The sequels you get are weird ass fucking sequels like Aladdin 3 and Little Mermaid 2 that no one's ever heard of or seen, and Pixar just rolling out sequels after
What's
sequels.
the bet? They're all free on YouTube. Let's do it.
Oh, probably.
But even then, Toy Story's got I'll give that. Cars, Shaky 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Toy Story I think is
I think Toy
Story
Story's
3 sequels. Yeah.
Toy Story might be better than all of DreamWorks, but then everything else from Disney and Pixar might be worse than the rest of DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Moving on to what is it? It's Disney, yeah. Obviously, it's Disney.
Yeah,
That's
I think it's Pixar as well.
I don't think it is
from
Pixar.
the same people as someone else.
I don't think
How
it's Pixar,
about
but Wreck-It
you guys
Ralph
bring it?
2... Yeah, it is 2. I didn't know it was 3 because we're talking about 3 then. It's called Ralph Breaks the Internet, and they make a joke about that it should be Ralph
It
Wrecks
really
the
annoys me.
Internet.
It should be Rex. Why make a joke about it and admit that it's better and it works better?
Because you don't wreck the internet, you break the internet. That's the whole viral thing. You're
It's
breaking
dumb though.
the internet. That's the whole thing.
fact that they put a joke in at the end of the trailer saying it sounds better as Wreck the Internet and makes more sense, but they just went with break because it's a saying.
Yeah, pretty much. But so yeah, this trailer obviously the first one was a huge success. A lot of people loved the first movie. Bit worried, not too worried. I think it looks like a good movie, but I feel like they might be straying away from the video game aspect of this film a bit too much.
Yeah, I feel like that's the evolution of it. To kind of go to just media in
Have you
general.
seen the first one? You haven't.
Not fully from start
I
to
feel
finish.
like a lot of people loved the first one because it was a video game movie that was a lot of fun. And I feel like if you're doing this whole internet thing, it's getting on the edge of Emoji Movie, and we know how that one turned out. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Obviously, we can't tell from a trailer what they did, but they've got a lot of stuff on there. Obviously, the Disney princesses running around, the Star Wars running around. They've got a lot of stuff going down.
Okay. It looks like it's just Disney.
Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't think it was Pixar. But no, yeah, this I think has a lot to live up to because a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, love the first movie. Not one of Nick.
Not me. I'm gonna be honest. So I didn't think it was meant to be a big movie when it was being made. I thought it was just like a nice throwaway, feel good, whatever. And I didn't hate it. I just didn't put it up there as something, I'd be jumping out my pants to watch again. It's just okay for me. It had some real cheap moments, some real nice moments as well. But yeah, Alex last year or whatever turned around and said, no, actually, people love that movie. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So what you're saying is you felt the wind on the window, but it didn't shake your ass.
That's it. I felt the window, but it didn't shake the house.
Okay, there we go.
The thing was I was buying the movie because I saw it and it's cool Blu-ray, cool Steelbook, and I was like, oh, I've heard good things. I'm gonna double check, and there was good things worldwide. And then Nick was like, oh, I didn't actually love that movie. I thought it was a bit average. And then I was like, well,
no,
you're
again,
the
for
1%.
the record, I was impressed considering I thought it was gonna be just a throwaway cheap. Oh, this movie will be bad. Let's just watch it because I was impressed by that point, but. Yeah, I didn't realise it was the most legitimate movie
I think this will be interesting to see what they do with it and see if it can live up to the first one, because that's obviously we just spoke about how Disney struggle with that, and we'll see what happens. I think this is obviously, probably the first big blockbuster sequel as a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Not a Pixar one, but...
just waiting for the brought to you by, because that was an interesting thing.
We'll let you lock to that, and we'll move over to the next one, which is Halloween trailer. This is a franchise that I'm not... as familiar with. I'm a huge horror guy, huge slasher guy. I love Friday the 13th, I love Scream, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Not a huge Halloween guy, not because I dislike the movie.
Zootopia,
okay.
Zootopia, that makes a lot of sense.
Not because I don't dislike the movie, it's just one of my favourite franchises. I'm very interested to see what they're doing, because this looks like a weird, I feel like a reimagining.
I looked into it. It's a direct sequel to the original.
I thought that was the case because
that's what he's gone for. The director said he's ignoring every other film. It's a sequel to the first.
Yeah,
film.
It did seem very heavy.
Which is probably a smart idea.
That's the only one I've seen, but I've heard obviously things get a bit weird after. It's all horror movies.
Apparently, they killed off Jamie Lee Curtis in one of the later ones, and everyone hated it.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah.
So he's come out and said he's making it as a sequel to the first one, ignoring all the other films.
It'd be interesting. I mean, it's a smart move though, because they definitely. I think this is the smartest thing to reboot a series, because when people reboot a series, people go, "Oh, we've seen this before. How are they going to do it?"
Yeah.
But they're going, "No, we're going to make this a direct sequel to the first one, which is a successful movie, and people didn't like the next sequels." Blah blah blah. Look at Friday the 13th when they remake that movie, everyone hated it. I love Joe Padalecki. I love Daniel Panabank, but that movie sucked my fucking asshole. That was trash. Don't even get me started on Friday the 13th, the remake. But it'll be interesting. And then even the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was literally like shot for shot at times, and it was awful. If you've ever seen the original one and you've seen the scene where he's clawing through the wall, imagine that, but they put cheese on the wall. That is what the remake does. It is awful, and I'm hoping this one does good justice, and I'm excited because they're not just going to retell the first movie. They're going to go, okay, we're giving like a revamped, rebooted thing, but we're going to make it into its own thing, and that's what I like.
I like the idea of the story of what they've given away here on he's been in jail for 40 years. She's been preparing for him to escape for 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's finally the come to of the two characters, because it's kind of like a reunion at this point.
Yeah.
Because if they're going for a direct sequel from the first, it's like they haven't seen each other in 40 years.
Which I call bullshit. They're not holding him for 40 fucking years. I'd like to see them try, motherfucker.
I don't think from the trailer when he's standing there, it looks like he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. He does look pretty chilled.
He's waiting.
Which I think we will all have to rewatch the first one.
That's kind of the other thing they're hinting at. He kind of only goes off when he sees the mask again. Is that like a William Shatner's shitty prosthetic mask?
Well, that's what I love about that. It's William Shatner's mask. But yeah, it'll be interesting because we'll have to rewatch this first one before we
definitely
for the next one, and even maybe if we have time, see the sequels and see how bad they are. I don't know how.
Yeah.
There's not that. There's like 4 maybe sequels.
Yeah. There was one. There was already the one they did the reboot for.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not too bad. Like, it's nowhere near the original, but apparently it has some scenes that are kind of interesting, shows him when he's real young.
Which I'd like to clarify, because Nick laughed when I said not many sequels. We're talking horror movies. We're talking 76 fucking Friday the 13th movies and 84 fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, that's the thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No.
So we could probably do that in a week.
Yeah, so we'll keep going. What do we? We'll finish off with quick ones. First Man was the Neil Armstrong biopic with Ryan Gosling.
Cool. Yeah, that looks good.
I mean, Damien Chazelle's got a good track record last couple of years. So.
I think it's anything anyone's going to be really excited to go on. Well, we'll really die and see this movie, but I feel like it's going to be a good movie.
I think it will be solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to see a good dramatization. They usually work
And Spidey-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Did you see the trailer for this?
Yes.
Okay. I like it. It's a weird animation style.
But,
I think that could be nice.
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's
fresh.
something different. But apparently it's going real viral, the trailer. People are interested in
Well,
it.
I like it.
Yeah.
A nice Miles story is always good.
Weird old Peter Parker, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be fun.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely potential to a lot of cool
he's
stuff.
a fun guy, Peter. Like, he's not serious. He's never serious.
Now
in
he's
any
like
of the
dad
versions.
fun, though.
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's the coolest type of fun.
It's nice to flash forward with Spider-Man because we always get the got to reboot him again, start from fucking 14 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is it feature length? Or... Yeah.
It's a full animated feature.
That would be good.
I think, it'd be interesting to see what they do with it, if it gets a wide release or what they do with it, because a lot of those movies you're not sure, especially with comic book animations. Never really sure, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to movie news, we'll go through this. We've talked for a little bit. This is going to be a longer episode because we've had so much shit movie news, movie trailer-wise, so it's probably going to be close to an hour. But we'll move on to the movie news. I'm just going to quickly scroll that a little bit over so I can see better. These things kind of correlated in an article that Nick tagged us in. It was the Kick-Ass reboot and the Kingsman universe.
Both Matthew Vaughn.
Yes.
Yes, that's the connection there, exactly.
Really exciting.
So I'm going to get a bit hasty when it comes to Kick-Ass. So let's go to Kingsman first.
All right.
Okay.
This will be a lot of fun, this universe.
Yeah.
I think so.
The thing is, are they going to oversaturate?
There's the risk of that, but I think it'll be alright.
I mean, a third movie I'm okay with.
Yeah.
A spin-off on The Statesman, which was also done, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's the TV
Adding in
series
TV shows is where I start to get a little bit nervous.
I was worried when I read that too, but it's going to be 8 hours worth of footage. So I think it's going to be like 8 hours
just a
long
mini-series.
episodes or something. Nothing too dramatic. They can build a story with each episode.
Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed the second movie. I don't think it needed. It definitely wasn't bad, but I don't think it was needed. Number one was a phenomenal movie, and that's why I think number one did it so well. I'd be fine if they just did one and then started doing some spin-offs. I mean, I could do with 3 again. Not in bad in any sense. I did enjoy Kingsman 2 a lot, but just I don't think it was necessarily needed.
Punch of one.
I think 1 was definitely just something that came out of the blue, and even when we saw it, we didn't know why we were seeing this movie. We were like, we got bored on a Friday night. We're like, what are the movies that came out? We're like, this weird Colin Firth spy movie. We're like, well, fuck it, we'll check it out.
I honestly, going in, I thought it was like a PG-rated film.
Yeah, that advertising campaign was amazing, because coming into that, you had no idea what the fuck
that
was
was the
going
biggest twist I've ever had in a movie. Like going, not obviously in a movie, but like going, what I expected to what I got was absolutely
I think that's one of the things that made the sequel hard to follow up, though. Because
it was just that meta-based shock.
Because if they made the second film as the first one, it probably is still not as good, but I think it'd be a lot higher up, just considering the first one had the shock factor.
You know, if we can talk about the movie, if you really haven't watched it yet, and you still don't want spoilers, but like the exploding head scene from the first one, very polarizing, but that's like in a sentence, like that's Kingsman to me. That's what the movie was, summarized. If you did the same thing again in 2, you'd hate it. Yeah. And if you did anything too differently, you'd hate it. So it's a tough position to come from. I think they did a pretty good job. Wasn't a bad movie by any stretch.
Oh, yeah, no, I really like the sequel.
You were never going to get, like, there was like a 1% chance you were going to get
what we got,
one and make it different.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
I'm glad it's a mini-series. I hope they take their time with each thing. Like, if they start rushing that through production, I'm going to be a bit disappointed. But yeah. I'm excited at this point.
Okay.
Now to Kick-Ass. What's he got? He's clear in the throat.
Why the fuck are we rebooting Kick-Ass 5 years after the fucking sequel just came out?
It's been more than 5 years,
all the actors have not that long. Check those numbers.
When did the
Check those numbers. Not that long. It's not more than 10. So why are we rebooting it in that anyway?
Did you read the entire article?
It's not the same characters.
I don't care, but why the hell are we doing it?
They're doing it so they can throw it in the same universe as the Kingsman.
Okay.
Not that.
Tell me,
not that justifies it, but that's
why do we need it at all when people? Okay, we want more Kick-Ass. Cool.
Okay.
Give me Kick-Ass 3. Give me Hit Girl movie. Everyone loves fucking Hit Girl. Give me a prequel with fucking Nicolas Cage chilling. It's not been long enough. I don't care.
Suggestions. For the record, 2010 for the first, 2013 for the second. It's been 5 years.
Bang.
We should all go end it.
Bang.
That's it.
Fucking called that shit.
Well
Why
done.
the hell are we rebooting those,
So,
honestly?
by the way,
The original
okay.
cast just not there anymore.
So reading over it,
It's-
it made
the
it
whole idea is dumb.
sound like it was going to be the same world. And this is just speculation based on the way they worded it, which was very careful. You can tell that much for sure. It sounds like it might be the same world and a different iteration of Kick-Ass. So
Yeah.
a different character taking over the mantle from the
Yeah.
original Kick-Ass in the same world, which means we might have the original Hit Girl without the original Kick-Ass, and it will be a different character. It won't be someone else trying to play the same character. And I think
yeah.
Hit Girl would be great. I'd be very grateful if we got, Chloe back to that.
I just don't think we need it. Honestly, if we want to use the characters again,
yeah.
use the same characters, put them in the care. Don't even correlate it to the fucking. If you want to never talk about Kick-Ass 1 and 2 for whatever reason, don't do it. Bring the cast back. The cast don't want to do it. Don't use the characters. It's not been long enough to reboot
Well, they're not
this
using the
set.
characters is the thing.
Then why? It's not a reboot. Then it's a spin-off.
Well, it's not.
Well, it's
you can't call it a reboot unless it's a
No,
reboot of the movie
who
we've
called
seen.
it a reboot?
The article.
The article? Okay.
I think
I don't think... Well, the article wasn't written by the people. It's not like a...
I'd say it's a spiritual successor.
If that was the most D-bag thing you've ever said in your
a
life.
little bit.
I mean,
But
yeah,
I don't
it's-
disagree.
Successor.
It's going to be interesting. So, yeah.
If it's based on the same comics, okay. Call
No,
it a
it's
spin-off. Call it.
based
We're putting
on the-
Kick-Ass characters into the Kingsman
So it's
world or
another-
whatever you want to do. Just don't say it's a Kick-Ass spin reboot
Okay.
because then you're saying we're creating Kick-Ass again, and what's the point?
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean, I feel like
I'm
that's
not
your problem
sure
with the
if they're
wording,
calling
then.
it.
Yeah.
Well, that's there. That's the articles.
It might-
I've seen
it
more
might-
than one article. It's not just the one article.
Yeah.
It might be irresponsible journalism. It might not be, but based on, and I think they still might not have settled on how they're going to do it exactly.
If I see Kick-Ass in this movie, I'm going to spit on the screen.
No, Kick-Ass is in it, but
Yeah,
not
but it's a different.
not
Kick-Ass.
Dave, whatever his last
It'd be
name
like
was.
fucking
It's
someone else taking over.
what they want to go for is there's in the comics the person that follows up is a single mother or something, has like problems.
So it is part of the comics. that
Yeah, it
exists.
is
It's
part
just
of the comics.
new.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like
fair enough.
replacing Batman.
That's why. But why are we still doing that then? Why don't we just create it, like give it a new character then? Obviously, shouldn't like why do we have to go with Kick-Ass again?
Well, did they
I
have
think-
many other interesting heroes within that comic book?
I don't. Oh, then why are they doing it? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
yeah,
they
well,
don't.
then why,
have-
why are they building
Exactly.
a universe?
Exactly. You don't. No one asked when they did this Kingsman universe. Like, we'll incorporate Kick-Ass thing. They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to do
Yeah.
it. They
Although
want
I
to
am
do it.
hanging out for an Australian
So
Kingsman group.
I mean, it's
See,
Sorry.
I'm not angry with the news. I'm fine with them doing a Kick-Ass.
it's definitely.
I'm
I need to
skeptical.
see trailers. I need to see casting. I need to see. You know, the movie itself. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
skeptical.
pumped in any sense of the word.
in the best way, this could be the greatest thing ever. But there are so many ways this could go wrong, and I'm scared for them.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited to see if it does go well.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, a lot of people didn't like the second Kick-Ass anyway, so it's not like...
Yeah, and a lot of
They
people
have,
didn't like the second Kingsman. So,
Yeah.
in their heads, we might be the majority by liking both the minority by liking both to any extent. So,
Yeah.
maybe they've got nothing to lose. But,
I wouldn't say nothing to lose, but when you've got a movie that
if the
people
producers
panned
happen to
the
listen
second...
to this, then we still liked him. Don't ruin him for us. Let's just
Alright,
put that out there.
while I'm a bit revved up, let's talk about the Joker movie. Because some dickhead, I think Jared Leto's given gobbies because
Is it-
who's making this movie and
Well,
why.
no, I don't think... I heard a rumor that Leto doesn't want to do it, but because they contracted him for films, they're paying him for... they're paying him for a film because of his contract, so I think they're trying to say, while we're paying you, we may as well get a film out of you.
I think that'd be a really sneaky way for Leto's publicist to be able to try and give him a bit more credibility coming into the next one.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
But
I don't want any part of this film. Jared Leto is one of the shittest villains in cinematic history. He
He's
was
not
awful.
great.
He was
He's
absolutely
very
awful, and I don't want these fucking keyboard warriors to come at me like, well, if you listen to edition 76 of the Joker, he is very I don't give a fuck. He was trash on screen. He was useless to that movie. He made Suicide Squad a lot worse than it already was. It wasn't a good movie, and then he came in and helped it. It was not that.
ready?
It was
Ready?
unnecessary.
Hot take. Didn't mind him.
But did you like him?
I neither like nor dislike. I think they used him incorrectly.
And that's the worst thing you ever say. If you're the top tier of Leto fan and you're saying I didn't mind
You might be the top tier of whatever.
I don't. It was, and I'm not the only guy here. I've seen when this article came along and there was 76 articles saying Joker's getting a standalone movie. Not one happy comment. Not one.
No, mine's not a happy comment. I don't really want to film, but I'm just saying.
I don't think that character could have held a film.
Yeah.
And
that might be.
Don't even give me this. Oh, you can just say Heath Ledger was so much better, and you're nothing to do with Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was phenomenal. No one was expecting him to be better than Heath Ledger. Not one person.
Okay, so interesting. Two schools of thought here. If Heath Ledger's part of something that the audience has to compare it to, then it is a movie's job to be better than or different enough to Heath Ledger so that the Joker's enjoyable. So it wouldn't matter shit if we did like Heath Ledger better and we're only comparing it to him. That exists. Therefore, we have to go with that.
The one thing I'll give them is that following Ledger, they knew they couldn't beat it, so they went in a different direction with him.
I don't think they went far enough.
I can respect that. To be honest,
I don't think they went far enough in any direction. He just sort of like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's sitting there crying.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jay Leto on the podcast.
The one thing I like about this article, and the one thing I like about this news, might not ever see him in a Batman movie. And I'm fine with that, because if he doesn't want to come back and they're going, we'll still got you in contract for one more movie, give me a shitty Joker movie that I can avoid and go, I'll see it because I'm going to see it.
Completely.
But then if it's shit, I don't have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I loved fucking... Give me the name, Ben Affleck. His Batman was phenomenal, and I'm happy to see the standalone movies. So if we're not going to see a Jared Leto Joker in the standalone Batman movie, that's the one bonus that we're getting from this news of this Joker movie. But what are we even going to see with this Joker movie? What is he?
I mean, they could literally go anywhere.
But Joker is Batman. Batman is Joker.
Pre or sequel?
You can't.
Prequel or sequel?
I think prequel. Because after Suicide Squad, they're kind of restricted with what they can and can't do.
Don't incorporate Red Hood, because you'll ruin him as well. Just keep him out of this.
Try and keep Harley Quinn out of this. I'm not sure how far back they might go.
I love Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she was phenomenal.
It just sucks that
It's really interesting to see how someone can carry a movie so hard and the movie still be bad.
Sorry, second bonus. We might get to see Harley Quinn again in this movie.
I don't want her in this movie. There's a Harley Quinn standalone still coming, isn't there?
No,
the Birds of Prey movie.
I think they cancelled it.
Anyway, it was never a standalone anyway, but
yeah.
But no, okay.
Well, if they're doing a Joker over a Harley Quinn, they've got something very wrong with them.
I mean, it's...
My thing with that is I don't think either of them can really hold a standalone film.
Yeah.
Because Harley Quinn can get annoying in large doses.
You can work around that.
Yeah.
You could do something with Harley Quinn.
Well, that's why I like the idea.
Joker's character in that movie had so much nothing that maybe, and I don't want to say this in front of Alex, so if you could just turn around, maybe developing Joker's character in a very specific way with his own movie might do something, but at least we have confidence with Harley.
I'd like to point out, prove me wrong here, DC.
Yeah, exactly.
I will be the first one if the movie comes out and it's good, everyone's going to come and go, yo, you said it was going to be shit. Good. Call me out.
Yeah.
Make the
I'm
greatest
so
movie of all
upset.
time.
I had
happy
2-3 hours of entertainment.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is the only way is up.
That's a very happy attitude.
Because Suicide Squad had Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Does this movie have Harley Quinn and Deadshot? Probably not.
See, a lot of people didn't like those characters. Like, a lot
of
do,
people
but...
didn't like them because they were like, they weren't specific of these comics. I like them because I like both the actors. And both the actors are phenomenal actors, and I
find it really weird to watch them on screen together. I don't know what it is, but there's something...
Well, I've never seen Focus. I watch that. Like, I own it. And I
it's one of those things. Yeah, I don't know.
Think that's
when
very
characters
good either.
come up enough, it gets weird.
I think it was average. I don't think it was anything special. But we'll move away from that. Kind of spoke about Suicide Squad 2. I mean, this isn't as bad because I think they can freshen up the team a little bit. They can add in a new character, maybe dump another character, not use Joker in this film, get rid of Enchantress with a weird waving body that I still don't know what she was doing. And it, honestly, again, I think this is my only ways up for me because I feel like they can still.
Well, I think I feel like they should have learned from the first one the reactions they've got
And
they should do at least a bit better.
Yeah,
at very worst, I feel like they should do a
Just
little bit
don't
better.
rush it. Just don't rush it out.
Yeah, there's so much of that. Like, they had so many good starting points. The color scheme from all the advertising and stuff, that looked like that dark neon rave-like movie. That was going to be nice. The soundtrack, used terribly, but all the songs were amazing.
Yeah.
It had so many points of potential that nothing has particularly been blown for them.
I'm happy for them to do whatever they want to do and prove me wrong. If they do it, fair enough. But if they don't, I'm coming out hot on this podcast in 3 years' time, and I'm spitting fire at Joker, and I'm spitting fire at Suicide Squad 2.
The other thing that's exciting me is obviously we're only like 20, so we haven't read every comic ever.
Yeah.
We couldn't. But I haven't read a lot of Suicide Squads, but I imagine a team of villains in any context could make for a very unique and different storyline. Something that's not just hero fights, bad guy wins.
Watch the animated Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I've watched a bit
Great
of it,
film.
but
it's a Batman film technically, isn't it?
Yeah,
Escape from Arkham.
Yeah.
But saying that,
Any calls on what the storyline might be?
I want to bring in Bronze Tiger, by the way. That would be great.
Yeah, I
He's a
could say
cool
that.
member of the group that they did not have in the thing, and they can fuck off.
My thing, bring back Boomerang, Harley, and Deadshot.
Yeah.
Bring back El Diablo too. He was,
he was
at
good.
least a solid part of the
I
film.
wouldn't mind
Yeah.
a little more storytelling on
But
El Diablo.
the thing is, though, will this movie come out and everyone would love it like they did, and then rewatch it and go, maybe not, because a lot of people came out and loved Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it had
and then after a month, everyone's like, hold up, maybe not. And then more and more people watched it and went, okay, this movie's trash.
I mean,
even when I watched it, I didn't love it. I think I was on the side of going, it was enjoyable, nothing fucked, but then I rewatched and go, and every time I watch it, every time I think about it more, it gets worse. So I feel like, will it be a honey dig? I feel like people will be on the nose and be like, we're ready for this.
Technically,
no tricking us with sexy Harley
They
Quinn
could
this time.
still be, like, Deadpool 2 or something could still turn out to be terrible by that logic,
I mean...
So, that's a big call on any movie.
Okay, we spent
Definitely
half an hour on this, so apologies. But we're gonna segue into these last two news things we have. With the weekend we had was at Oz Comic Con. We went up on this Saturday in Melbourne. Plenty of guests there. We had Joe Manganiello, obviously plays Deathstroke. We met Lauren German from Lucifer. Also, Leslie Ann Brandt was with her as well, who plays Maze. John Diggle, David Ramsey, Arrow, Keen Alonso, Kid Flash. We had KJ Apple from Riverdale. Obviously, a lot of comic book guests there. We went to a few panels. Walked around, met some people, watched some things, and we learned a few things.
Got the scoops.
We got some. Your boys went out, scoops. And we got some knowledge. The first thing we'll talk about here is something that I talked about on my YouTube channel. Check it out. But we know that Lucifer got cancelled. 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Just before the finale. And we thought, okay, is there hope for it to get redeemed? And we heard a lot of articles that said otherwise, and a lot of people went, no, they said no, they said no, they said no. And we stood in a line for a long time, because we got in a line. If you've ever been to Comic-Cons besides San Diego, because San Diego is definitely like more of a conference, but majority of the Comic-Cons you get to stand in line and you can meet the people and you get some of the things. And we've been last 3 years and we've met people. We've met David Gentili from Grimm. We've met
Daniel
Gillies, Alison Hannigan. I met Dolph Lundgren, and you generally kind of just say, hey, how's it going? You say what you want to say, they sign it, you leave. Maximum 30 seconds a minute.
Yeah.
For sure, me and James kind of hacked the system and got it together so we get a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But apparently, we got on this line and we heard Lauren German, Chloe from Lucifer, likes to speak to everyone.
Loves a chit-chat.
She likes to speak from the 3 to 5 minutes. So we had a long time in this line. We get up to the front and we talked to her for 3 to 5 minutes. We had a pretty long chat with her. And amongst the chat, amongst the hi, how are you, how you like in Australia, blah, 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 having a conversations, we ask about Lucifer, obviously, because it was cancelled. We want to know what's going on. So James asks what's going on. And we get the scoop. Your boys are journalists now.
Yeah.
And we find out that was later told in the panel. So anyone that's going, they said that in the panel.
We found out before the panel.
Confirm. So everyone, bit of context. I'm too broke, so I didn't get to stand in line, but I got to stand and watch them in line. I didn't get the scoop, but I went to the panel for this before they'd even gotten out of that line. So
Well, yeah, I remember you told me in the panel, you're like, oh, she said June 16th.
yeah, exactly.
And I was like, yeah, we already know, she told us.
Yeah, exactly. So it might have been 10, 20 minutes, but they bet it.
Yeah, we bet it.
Okay,
They
yeah. So
bet it.
the news was that Lucifer has its last dance, the last network that is giving a.
Okay, I'm gonna have to correct you, but I'll do it at the end.
It-
Go on.
What do you know? You can't say shit like. What are you
Alright.
gonna do?
So it's not its last chance for this round
Yeah.
of contracting. It's not a big deal, but like
It's
for
not
just-
its last
for
chance, but
technicalities.
contract-wise.
It's never its
they've
last
got,
chance.
They've
Yeah.
got a contract, and what happens is at the end of this contract, the stars will have to be let go.
Yeah.
And given that they are humans, believe it or not, hot take there.
Lies.
They will need other jobs. And they will need other money,
Ooh,
so
yeah.
they will need to start dedicating their time
That-
elsewhere. They can't just wait for Lucifer.
Yeah.
to be
Well, that's the
picked
thing.
up. But
Anything
if
can get rebooted after any time.
someone
Yeah.
wanted to come in, buy the rights, and then have another shot at it, I think, provided they haven't gotten too busy, everyone would be pretty keen.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the
back
point
to
of
the
the
point.
point of
Sorry,
this
I
in
didn't wanna
general
interrupt
is
that.
that we were told that they have until June 16th is the cutoff for their contracts and things like that. So between now and then is when someone's either going to announce a Netflix, a streaming service, another network is either going to pick it up or
They're done.
They're
and
done.
Contract get released.
Contracts
and then
are done.
Tom Alice goes to there.
because yeah, none of them
Go on
can
them.
go
They
for
can't-
any other
yeah.
work
They
until
have
June
to
16th.
hope. And that's the thing. I'm looking over shit. Fuck
Holy
this shit.
shit.
Fuck you, Fox. That's it. That's targeting you,
go.
Fox, for targeting. No, yeah, that. I mean, to what you were saying, Nick. Literally anything can be rebooted.
Yeah,
they can go back in 10 years and go. You guys want to come back for
fucking
season
Wizard of
4?
Oz if you wanted to, but yes,
But no, so that's the thing. It's their last chance before they all do a separation, and then
it's
it makes
going to
it
be
harder
much
because
harder, and they're going to lose all their momentum
Yeah.
and viewership. So it is a very dramatic point. But if it doesn't go well, don't lose hope. Keep
Yeah.
protesting.
Yeah.
But
Keep
no,
signing petitions.
it was great meeting Lauren Jones. We got
Yeah.
a picture and we got signing in the line and we talked to her for a little bit. Phenomenal girl.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lauren German.
Yeah, if Lauren German manages to hear this, will you marry me?
Putting it out there.
There we go, it's out there.
And yeah, that was cool. And obviously John Diggle played David Ramsey. He spoke about he just read season 7. He said he loved that, so it's going to be exciting going towards
Poor
the
guy
new
had
season.
to try
so-
really hard not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really hard.
But he was another one which was weird because the two guys we went to were both the ones that like to chat.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool as well because our plan originally was to go and we were going to get it. There was a team-up picture with Maze and Chloe from Lucifer, and that was the plan. And then unfortunately it was sold out, so we had to go and get just a photo with
Just two
Chloe.
individual
But then
ones.
we went and met her and like signed it as well because you
Yeah.
don't really get to talk to them when you get a picture. You kind of like a hi, how are you? And she's like, good, and you take the picture, pose, whatever, and everyone else. But we were lucky because we got to talk to her
Yeah.
for ages, which ended up probably working out well as much as we
Yeah, it did
love
work out
Maze
good.
and would have been cool as well. But which she was right next to us, so when we
Yeah.
fucking talked like literally between you can't see again, feet away from us. And so it was a pretty cool week, and we walked around, watched the panel, blah blah blah, and then we went and we spoke about Boss Logic last week, and that was a big topic we talked about with fan casting for Boss Logic. And we're in the Joe Manganiello panel at midday, whatever, and he says, "I got the role of Deathstroke from Boss Logic because the creators, the producers of the character and what they wanted to do with it, the DCEU, said who we're going to get to play it, and they Googled the picture, and Boss Logic's fan art of Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke came up, and they said, okay, call up Joe, we'll get him on, and they got him on. That's how it happened.
You may have even read that in a few news articles that popped up in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
so
news broke, and when he's like, and then he
We're
says,
sitting there shitting ourselves.
we'll have to go and find him. And we're like, wait, so he's Australian. We went and found him. Turns out we'd been buying from him for 2 years, didn't even realise the guy. We met him. We went and had a chat with him afterwards, and we said, hey, like, you hear this? And he's like, yeah, that's really cool. And he's like, he kind of heard murmurings. We kind of said, did you?
Yeah.
Yes, we got to chat with him, which was awesome. We bought some stuff from him again, some cool posters and whatnot, but that was really cool. And
Pretty
while
sure
we were
he
out
was
there...
giving out some free stuff, but he did specifically give it to us for free, so we might be able to claim that. Don't
Yeah.
know.
And then while we were there as well, Julia Dennison, who plays Five
Yeah.
Fish from Deadpool, just comes up and has a chat with him. We're like, what's up,
Yeah,
dude?
that's
We didn't say anything to him because he was obviously being rude,
For
interrupting.
just a quick thing, while Broke Gold Me wasn't waiting in line, I did go and see his panel, and he's a cool guy. That's about all there was to that.
I mean, he's a 15-year-old. He's pretty innocent at this point.
Yeah, no, he's cool. He's
Hasn't
funny.
been tainted by the world.
Exactly. He's just getting on my more humble side. He's keen to keep learning, and I thought that was a nice thing. He wants to go to university for something, movie related.
Which I'm calling out. I would never fucking do if I was an actor.
Yeah, no shit.
I'd
If
make
you're
my
in
first
a movie
millions.
with
I'm like,
Reynolds,
I'm dropping out of college, and I see all this.
Exactly.
I'm
Apparently-
obviously.
Mate, I'd be dropping out of primary school if
Oh,
I
no
had that
shit.
opportunity.
He's still in school. He's doing it by correspondence, but he's still in school. And apparently, like, the casting went roughly something like Ryan saw him in, what's the name?
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yep. Thank you. Because of the director of it.
Taika Waititi.
Yep, thank you. Great with names right now. But yeah, saw that. Pretty much Ryan helped write the part and kept steering it towards Julian. And they did call him in and put him through a proper audition process. But whilst that was happening, Ryan walks over to Julian's mum and whispers in his ear, "You're going to make so much money."
He has two dads? You said he's like you said his for his mum.
His mum, Julian's mum.
No, you referred to Reynolds walked up to him.
You whispered in his ear,
Yeah.
not her.
I was
sorry,
just doing a
guys.
douchebag
I'm sorry,
correction that
guys.
you're calling his mum a boy.
Yeah.
By the way, if your dad
Mum
doesn't have a
sounds great.
beard, you
Yeah.
got 2 mums.
But yeah, sounds great. Nice guy. I would have dropped out the second I met Ryan Reynolds, but yeah, he's
No,
keen.
that's the thing. Okay,
Excited to see where he goes.
Obviously, we are 20 years old, 19. Me, you guys just literally turned days
Little
ago.
baby boy.
That was why we went up.
And I obviously, there's a lot of hot ladies around that age in the acting field, right? And watching Disney Channel and shit like that, and you see them and they talk about, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get college up this. I'm like, no chance. All these
Absolutely.
actresses that are on Disney Channel and they're 16, 17, 18, they're like, I'm gonna go to college. I'm like, I would go to one show and I'd be like, deuces, I'm done with life, and you'd never see me again. I'd never go to college. Why would you?
That's how you
I'm gonna be honest. I know
fresh
people are like,
don't-
but you gotta learn some more. Fuck that, man.
I feel like that's a solid way to like Macaulay Culkin though, and just ruin
But Macaulay Culkin doesn't have to work for 30 fucking
he's got a
years,
lot
has
of
he?
money.
He is rich as fuck.
Yeah.
That's all you need. You gotta think. These people make some money. If you're a child actor, you just gotta keep your revenue flowing for a little bit in your Gucci gang.
Yeah, no, he was talking about that, and child acting is obviously a very high tipping point, like percentage of child actors that can actually be recognized as an actor is hard, and I think he's nailed the timing. So coming up into a bigger movie at around 15, 16, and then having that like launch pad, watch him. He's gonna do good things.
Nice. I think that was about it from Comic Con. We didn't do we spoke about what we did. We lots of things.
We asked
Scouted.
David Ramsey how much he benched, or I didn't.
Okay,
But you guys
yeah.
did.
420-pound, one max,
Hey, one max
weight.
which is 190 fucking kilos.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
is
solid
ridiculous.
Yeah, based
That
on the
is
story
redonkulous.
though, I just like what he did when you guys asked him. How'd that go?
Well, we're on the verge of leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked to him again. He's another one that talked for a while. We talked to him for a little bit about it, and he's one of those people, high eye contact people. And it kind of you're like, I shouldn't be looking in your eyes. And he just straight
Stop
on you,
looking into my
darting.
soul.
Yeah, he's just darting into his soul, and we go, thanks, man. And he goes to picks up our things, goes to leave, and then James drops the how much do you bench? Puts it down. He's like, hold up, boys. Like, you can't ask me that shit and expect me to just drop a number and walk off. So he puts it down, which he can admit it. And he doesn't just give us a number, he explains the procedure. He's like, this is 1 rep max. He's like, this is me in this stage. And he points to a picture of himself with his shirt off, looking ripped as fucking like season 1. And yeah, he is a big dude. Not as big as me, though.
Weird feeling going to Comic-Con and feeling like you should join a gym, walking out of it with Joe and David. Yeah,
But
I think I'm
like,
going to try.
But then you look around, you're like, no, there's a lot of
Yeah, exactly.
fatty dudes here.
That alone might have just reduced the obesity level of Australia by.
I'm going to say, if
That's
you're at
not
Oz
nice, I
Comic
shouldn't
Con,
say that,
we're in
but-
the top 10% of coolest looking dudes and hottest looking dudes, and that shows how
Yeah.
cool Oz Comic Con is.
We should.
We
We're
should never
not
be-
a
we
nice
should
looking
definitely not
group.
say that.
We shouldn't. Why shouldn't we say that, Nick? I'm
'cause
calling it all the fucking.
We're talking
weebs.
about movies. How much of our audience might be?
You're all gross. Anyone listening to this, I can almost definitively say is not a good looking man. Or
We're not.
woman.
Except
We're not
for
even
you, our
calling.
one subscriber after the first week. He's cool.
We're
Just
not.
gonna put that
We're
out
not
there.
calling out. We're calling ourselves out as well. So
Yeah,
don't,
we're not
don't
good.
be like
We're not.
they're
Yeah.
censoring me out and calling this shit. We're all shit. We're all
We're all
weebs.
shit.
We know what we are.
We might. I'm not going to say we were, but we might have been in the top 10% of Comic Con. We're not good looking guys though.
Yeah.
Don't.
But,
Yeah.
No, and I mean, shout out to you if you're still at this minute in the 45-minute mark, because we're going to start talking about the main event.
Yeah, finally get to the
which
point
we're
of it.
Monday Night Raw right now, and we've been fucking here for an hour and 2 hours and 45 minutes. We're like, here's 3-hour mark. Have your main event. Went shit. This is what's going to happen. We're talking about Ocean's 8, obviously directed by Gary Ross, also written by Gary Ross. Stars Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Rihanna, Anne Hathaway, Mandy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, the weird name that I remember, the Asian girl that had a weird name, wasn't even her name.
Aquafina.
Yeah. James Corden's in it, and then a few cameos. It is the sequel, more a spinning off sequel to
maybe
Ocean's
sequel
11.
series or sequel standalone at the moment, but start of a sequel series.
Yeah, well,
would
it's
be
a spin-off
accurate.
series. It's a spin-off sequel. And it obviously follows it's Debbie Ocean, which is Danny Ocean's sister, and that is the story we're following. A very,
They're
very
not blood
similar
relatives,
path.
though, are they? I think they grew up in a home.
The readings, when you were reading about it, they often read it as estranged sister. I'm not even sure what that means, but yeah, by the sounds of it and the way they were talking, they're not blood relatives.
But essentially brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, they grew up long enough to
that-
get interested in the same fields,
That's
you
the
might
movie.
say.
If you want to go and watch the trailer, whatever. We're talking about this movie. What do you guys think of Ocean's 8?
So we're going non-spoilers just for the first...
We'll start. We're definitely gonna drop spoilers. By the
Yeah,
way, guys.
we'll,
we will. Fuck you
we'll give
guys.
you a bit of
if
a
you
heads up,
guys
yeah.
haven't watched it, 3 days after it coming out. But no, we will talk spoilers, but we'll holler at you when we're going to switch to spoilers, and that
Don't
will be.
forget not
We're
to
ending on
spoil
it, so
any of the other
we will
Oceans.
end. And we'll go to a spoiler thing, like so. We'll say that is the end of the non-spoilers. We'll let you know. It's very clear. You cannot blame us.
Boys, don't forget to not spoil Oceans 11, 12, or 13 either.
No, I'm spoiling that movie for the fucking hell of it. Mine is at maximum a year. If it's been more than a year and you haven't seen the movie, you don't want to see the movie, so I can spoil it.
Okay, well, anyway, back to Ocean's 8. General thoughts.
I'm checking out my review on... Nah, she's like, I'm going to plug myself at the end. No, I enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it at that.
What was the letter?
No, you got to check my video.
Gotta watch
find
that.
out. I'm not going to give a grade that here, Nick. No, I think this is a movie that is fine, enjoyable, don't think about it too much, and you have a good time.
Yeah, that don't think about it's a big deal though.
Yeah, well, we've already established after...
we had our discussions
combos
and it
after
was
the film.
almost a fight.
Yeah, Nick has a grudge against this film. I enjoy it.
I
like it. I'd say more than 12, on par with 13.
Okay,
I'd say I'm probably 12.
definitely disagree there. I think it's... I was worried I wasn't even going to be able to take it in as an Oceans, and I'm definitely going to represent that demographic of people that are just
Sexist
liking
demographic?
No, liking Oceans originals just because it was made first, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I do have my reasons. I can go into some of
Are you
them.
a sequelist, Nick?
I might be a sequelist. Not for most things. I really hate doing it. I really hate being that person, and I hate hearing people who won't objectively look at a movie just because it's a sequel.
My thing with that, though, is the sequels weren't that good.
No, I really did enjoy them. And for me, it's probably more like sequels 12 and 13, that is, where
There is a
they're pushing
big
on
difference
the...
between 11, 12, and 13.
There are
different
differences.
ballparks. There's
right.
11 is a...
I think we can all agree it goes
13's
11,
the middle.
13, 12, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, though, after many discussions on this, I like 12 more than these two did. And for me, I think...
These two?
Yep, those two.
More than, everyone that watched the film, I'd say.
Maybe. I was going to say, I think it's pushing on a guilty pleasure type thing for me. So it's something I like more than it is good, possibly.
Yeah.
So I was obviously going to have, I'm very, personally attached to these movies. So I was going to be its worst critic, that's
I don't
sure.
blame that take, that you can like it as a guilty pleasure, because I feel like a lot of people will, and I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are.
Plus,
and
that whole, subgenre of protagonist criminals is very guilty pleasure-ish. Very, it hunts down that part of a human that
we'll get
wants
into
to
this
do the
conversation
wrong
that we
things,
had,
but-
because you guys don't hear. I feel like Nick's take is fine. I'm fine
yeah.
with the take, but the reasoning behind the take, we don't agree with.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, I think they think I don't like it as much as it was because I kept trying to defend
Yeah.
myself.
Well,
it turned into a fight.
I think the order would
But it
go,
was-
I
it was
probably
fine.
enjoyed it the most. Al's middle ground, and then you're the bottom half.
Definitely, I'm definitely bottom, and probably by a fair margin, but not, I didn't not like the movie. If I'm gonna, before we get into the discussion, which might be a fight, I'm putting it on the record, no interruptions. I like it. It's a good movie. I still acknowledge it as part of the Oceans group. It's a bit more easy digesting than the first three, I would put it as my least favorite, but not by masses.
Okay, can we, because you don't have another form of
the movie
of media here, if you were rating it, whether it's as 1 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, or A, B, C, D, whatever, however you want to rate it, what would you say?
I just do 1 out of 10.
Okay, out of
easy.
10. Can I do all the movies just to give you?
That's good.
Okay, so out of 10, I'm not delusional. 11's amazing, but I'd probably only still give it maybe high 7s, 8-ish.
You're fucking harsh, mate.
Yeah.
You reckon?
I was gonna say that's a solid 8.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not oversell it because again, it's guilty pleasure.
No, but see, this is what scares me. How low is his Ocean's 8 gonna be?
keep
for me, it's like I might put it as a 10. Just out of the movies I like and how much I like them, I might put Ocean's 11 as a 10. Shouldn't have used the numbers. Regretting this. But I wanted to try and be a little bit objective.
You don't have to use numbers.
Yeah, okay. So Ocean's 11 is like 4 3/4 stars.
I like how you don't like numbers, but you just halved it.
Oh, well, I just halved
it.
Okay.
You halved it and then raised its score.
Yeah.
4 3/4.
I'm rounding up a little bit.
9.5.
So it's, All right.
And Nick goes to college, Nick, because we did not.
Yes, exactly. There's hope, people. All right. So 4.5 stars, we'll say, for Ocean's 11. Ocean's 13, 4 stars. Ocean's 12, 3.5 stars. So I think it's literally just half step down for those ones. It's not working great.
It's not working 7 great. For Ocean's 11, but now you're saying it's 4.5, now 3.5 Ocean's, which is equivalent to a 7.
Do you want me to be objective about it, or just give it to me how I like it?
Stars are objective, though.
No, do you want me to say
you've given us the first 3, give us your Ocean's 8 now.
Okay.
What's your Ocean's 8?
So, Ocean's 12 was 3.5.
Yeah.
I'd probably only say 3. So it's definitely a better movie out of everything, but it's like the Star Wars problem.
What about out of 10? I really want to see it out of 10 here, because you gave...
Out of 10? So I'd be about a 6. 6 or 7.
That's not as bad as you make it sound.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
6 out of 10 is fine.
I think these guys have the wrong impression because we started arguing about the reasons why I liked it, so it turned into a fight.
I'm just going to get all the brackets rating.
Yeah.
Letter grade, what do you give it?
Letter grade? Oh, fuck, I don't know letters. I'm dyslexic. So...
A, B, C, D,
right,
pluses, minuses.
You're grading it like an essay.
B, Ocean's 11 is a B, then I'll say that Ocean's 8 is like a C-ish.
You've cooled down.
Or is it a D plus?
So you can C minus, then
yeah,
D
because
plus.
there's a bit of spread between the movies, so I want it to scale right. But there's a whole bunch of movies that are worse than those. Absolutely.
For sure. But I feel like your ratings do not equivalent how you're talking about.
You were very passionately against it.
I have problems with it. It's not that bad. It's just not up there with the other Oceans for me.
I feel like it's weird though, because you've definitively said it's not as good as, not even close to Ocean's 12, but then you've given them very close to rating.
I didn't say it's not anywhere near as good.
You just said it's definitively not as good as...
It's not as good as 12. But that might be too fucking...
I feel like that you can't call that close though.
The lighting
it's definitively
in the
not as
second
good.
half of a second of one scene could have been the difference there. I didn't say how far.
Okay, here, this is where we can get into it.
It can't be too close if you're saying it's definitively.
So we're going to start getting into the
let me get clear this, because we're going at this.
Should we say spoilers now?
Hang on, let me. I haven't thrown my input.
We haven't even got into that.
No, but the argument might accidentally let slip some details about the movie.
No.
We're doing all right so far.
We can edit it.
Yeah.
So we're on the consensus. Alex, you enjoyed it. You thought it was a decent film.
Okay, I'm going to put my rating out just to clear that. C+. I go to C+.
C+.
C+. Cool.
See, I think I'm probably on... it's kind of shitty because I'm in between a B and a C+, because I feel like I liked it a bit more than you did. Yeah, B-. I'd say a B-. I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. The story was simple but effective, I feel.
Yeah, well, so getting into what we thought of the movie. Okay, so the movie itself, I think, is definitely something you can enjoy, but you can't look into... too deep into it, as Millie Burke and you can't look too deep into this movie. When you look too deep into this movie, you can find a lot of things to talk about shittily. And even if you guys, I'm not even trying to plug myself here. If you watch my review, I say that it is it's a movie that I enjoyed, and I never at one point went, "This is not good." But then I looked back and I went, "That could have been, that could have been, that could have been better." And the thing with this movie, it's not a bad movie, but it's not as good as it should have been, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it didn't miss it by a lot.
It could have, saying that, it could have been a Ghostbusters, and it could have been shit, and it could have been nothing. The thing I like about this movie, as much as it does get bearingly similar to the first Ocean's 11, like they're trying to redo it, it's a sequel, and you get the sequel feel, not just because there is a few cameo characters in there and they make references to and blah, blah, blah. It does feel like an Ocean's film.
Yeah, it feels in universe.
That was my biggest concern going in. I thought it's going to be a different movie. If you want to do another heist movie, sure, throw a different name on it, though. But it's part of the universe.
Yeah.
We can all
it definitely works in that
agree.
sense
Yeah.
as a sequel.
And you could, like, if you wanted to be a purist and sit down and only ever watch the 3, you could do that. But if you wanted to do the marathon, I'd be very happy to throw the 4th in, sort of thing.
That's the thing. And I think I'd be happy
I might not
to
watch
rewatch
it last
to
if you're
rewatch
saving
this
the best to last.
Again, I'd rather watch this over 12.
Okay.
I could be on that margin, and I'm not saying that 12 is a bad movie. This, for my liking, had just a nice, light-hearted enjoyability. Again, looking into it does ruin it, because you look at it, the heist is fine, it's not phenomenal, and it does feel like it could be a lot more high stakes than it is, but it is not a bad movie. It is, again, just, this heist itself is fine. The problem was just, the heist could have been better. I feel like my problem maybe not was reciprocated with you boys, but the casting for certain characters as a group, I think they worked really well.
Yeah.
But I thought Sandra Bullock,
it was weird.
I didn't like her character because I feel like Sandra Bullock is very down to earth. You know, she gets the feels out of you, and she's very likable, and that was not what Sandra Bullock was. And I feel like in this movie, it's not her fault. It's just the way they wrote the character didn't fit what Sandra Bullock is to me, and that's maybe different to a lot of people. Kate Blanchett, another one where I went, it didn't feel on point to me. But then Anne Hathaway, I loved. I loved Helen Botham Carter a hell of a lot more than I expected.
Great.
I liked Sarah Paulson. She was very likable as well. And then, James Corden's character was. I feel like it took me out of the high stakes stuff a little bit, but that's what I'm saying, because it did. But I still enjoyed it because it was a more lighthearted tone than the other ones were.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't trying to be a big, deep film. It knew what it was.
No,
it was a bit of
it
fun.
It was self-aware. And, I think that's, again, I'm not shitty with the movie. I'm very happy with it. But it just wasn't as good for me. It was self-aware. It was a good movie. Yeah, you can sit through that very happily.
The thing that excites me is because I did like and enjoy the movie that in Ocean's 9, say they do it.
Is it gonna
I would actually be excited for it, because
Yeah.
I know, yes, they did some things wrong, and yes, a lot of people might not enjoy this movie because of it. They did as the things I just spoke about.
I think it's forgivable.
I feel like. I mean, I've read a little bit, and a lot of people aren't enjoying it as much, and that's fair enough. I'm not saying you have to like this
and
movie.
again, I think I'm representing to some extent. I'm sure I won't be the most extreme, but there's going to be a massive chunk of people that are just going to be, they're going to walk in, and 3 seconds after they see someone that's not, George Clooney on screen, they're going to be like, "This is the worst movie ever."
Yeah.
I think Ghostbusters did that to it, but the thing is, because we did have a fun time with this movie, Ocean's 9 could fix some problems, make the heist more entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's
the group still
it's
fine
got
as a
the
group,
opportunity.
and I'd probably be excited for a sequel.
Yeah, one thing I did like about it, the cast works well together, I feel.
That's what
it's got good
singly,
chemistry.
I'm not sure, but as a group, I did enjoy everyone together. There was never, it didn't feel like, is. And the thing is, I think 8's a good number. I think 8 is a very good
11,
number.
that is, and again, I hate speaking against any of the originals, but, if I'm going to be a realist, there are problems in those movies.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of it's just, it didn't age as well as it could have, and that's unfortunate, but back at the time, that movie would have been amazing. However, some of the problems, 11's a big number to keep track of, and share the movie, the screen time equally. If we can, reference Infinity War for a second, even then, you think, you might try and compare it to that, but Infinity War is, a full half a Thanos movie, and then a decent chunk maybe a Thor movie, and then everything else is just their characters within someone else's storyline. Maybe a bit of Gamora in there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but they don't spread it out evenly. 11 they tried, but it was really on the edge, and you could have had more from each character individually. I like 8 as a number.
Yeah.
Eight's
I think 8's
It's an
smoother.
easy enough number to balance screen time between
Which,
characters.
This is the new Star Wars. If you look at it, if they do a new trilogy, it's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
If they do what?
If they do a whole thing, 8, 9,
And
10,
Ah,
11,
okay.
12,
Then they
13.
honey dick us and
then they go,
they get a kid on the
episode 14. A new fucking thing again.
Yeah, and that's us. That's when we come in.
Yeah.
No, that's when they
fine.
honey
I think
dick
this
us,
movie's
and
fine.
it's like 8, 9, and 9.5, and they hire some kid.
I feel a lot of people, which is probably not the audience we're talking about, but I think everyday movie viewers will go and enjoy this movie for the most part. Definitely female more, because I think a lot of men are going to be Nick and call out feminism.
Oh, yeah,
bullshit.
fuck.
Which I'm bringing this back.
You called it out for it, Nick, when it was
He
unnecessary.
literally you did. You called out
did.
feminism, and
it
there
wasn't. No, okay. So I didn't.
He's got to defend himself in the
I'm
public
really gonna
space
think
now.
about what I'm going to say now.
He's got to tread
If
carefully.
you're gonna lose our female viewer.
Viewer. I don't think we have a female viewer. We couldn't even get our mums to listen to it. Anyway,
I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I didn't tell her.
okay.
She
So-
wants to, I just won't tell her.
Whereas my mum just went no. So what they're referring to is when we were having our argument, our big momentous argument. One of the things.
I feel like that was one of our least big arguments, by the way. We have
Yeah,
a lot
no,
of
we
big
have,
arguments.
we've
That
had
was
some
nothing.
real
That was like a
rippers.
tier 1
You
argument.
guys might get
Yeah.
lucky and get to hear it.
Yeah, no, we do
sometime.
need
We're
to
just
keep the
referring to
audience
this one
in
of
mind. If it seems like we're legitimately fighting, we probably are, but there's no consequence
Put it
to
on
it.
hold.
Yeah, we
and
will,
then let it
we
be.
always
Immediately
do
fix
it.
it up. Plus, if we've got a clock on, we'll probably have to move on from the argument, and that will be fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we've got Comic Con this week, guys. It's been a big week. Next week, we'll try and get back down to 45 minutes ish.
I feel like that wasn't.
Now
even
stop
long. We
trying
should
to
go
dodge
that
the
10
subject.
Yeah, no,
Nick.
okay. So when we were discussing it, we were going sort of point for point, and what the fight sort of grew from is the boys were trying to decide whether, like, they had a pretty clear picture whether 12 or 8 was better. And I was definitively saying 12 is better than 8. What happened was part of Jimmy, I think it was, said something that referred to 12 being odd. And I said part of the reason I like 12 is the motivation in it.
Okay. I'm
And
sorry
then,
there. Sorry.
yeah, okay.
That wasn't how it started. You
No,
started,
we were balls deep in
No.
that.
At that stage, we were. That was because you talk. That's expanding on because we called you out because you said it forced feminism down. That was one of your points.
No.
Completely
I
irrelevant.
said that after we got into the motivation because
No,
the
no, the
sentence I
motivation was
said
after
it in.
that.
No, literally the
good stuff
sentence
here.
I said it in was, I don't feel like they had a very clear motivation, and we're kind of
See, this is where we disagree, though.
Sorry, we're not spoiling yet.
No, we can
but
get to spoilers now.
Are we clear?
Yeah. I'd say...
I'm not even suggesting we're necessarily gonna, but this is going to be very hard to
I'd
do
say
without
at
talking
this,
about the
at
movie.
this point, if you haven't seen it, is probably best to...
I'll put a
Step
number
back.
where you can click back in for you guys to finish up the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, obviously, one of the problems I had with it, and this one wasn't even like near the top of my list of problems. But one of the things is 12 was an odd movie. 12 was different to the other two, and that's possibly where it lost some of its quality if people don't like it as much. But I liked that it was really pushed. We were talking throughout 12. We were talking about how they've got to like not only maintain their cells in this, but they're also competing, and there's that fun aspect of it. But I felt like it's a weird one because we can take what we know from 11, but if we didn't do that, the motivation in this movie wasn't very clear. It's like, sure, they want money. That's
See, I
fair.
think it was a deadpan, like, you knew. They wanted money,
No,
Sandra
we
Bullock
knew.
wanted revenge.
We knew because, well, I think, and we can disagree. I think we know because of 11, but I don't think we got the idea, and we would have gotten the idea, I'm sure. But I don't think it was, like, thought through enough. I don't think it was clear enough or delivered well enough. I think the writers sort of just got to a stage where they're like, okay, cool, they're doing it because this, now we want to get on to the rest of the movie, and because it's just going to... And we can all say pretty standardly, it was pretty much formulaically built off the other ones.
Okay,
and
can
it was
I-
like
Can I cut you off there?
11.
If you... thing is, if you have a problem with the motivation in this film, then you have a problem with the motivation in 11. It's literally the same thing. They both want revenge and want money.
Okay, so not why they didn't, and I didn't have the problem with it, it's just the delivery of it. In 11, they had that feel going through that I either didn't notice, or they did explain it well enough, and you like believed the motivation, and it was delivered well. It was just that I don't have a problem with the motivation. It makes sense. There's a shitty ex in there that we need revenge on, and there's
See, that was only her the motivation, and that's
yeah,
all
no,
it had
and
to
that's
be.
and that's a mirror. That's a direct mirror of 11. So if
Put
I
it this
had
way,
a
Nick.
problem with the
What do you
actual
think
motivation-
real life bank robbers think? They want money.
They're
No, yeah,
criminals,
they
and
want money, and that's fine.
it.
But they didn't push into anything believably enough, and it was maybe like an acting thing, maybe a script thing. It wasn't. I get the motivation. I believe the motivation. I understand what they were going for. It's very, very similar to 11. Like, the only difference being on this slight little bit, it's like we're dealing with the ex's new boyfriend in 11, whereas in this one we're dealing with the ex and just getting revenge on him. He's the bad guy. But why we're talking about feminism is there were a couple of just throwaway lines in there that were a bit chunky, a bit, like, it didn't sit very well, and I'm worried they drove it that way because of stuff like the Ghostbusters, and obviously we've referred to it a couple of times. We shouldn't need to. They're completely independent films, but it's hard to ignore an all-female retake. And if you really did want to do it to prove like something along the lines of feminism, like if it was a feminism or an equal equality type statement of a movie, then you should have handled it smarter and clearer and maybe had a bit more impact in that sense. It should have been like a key part of the storyline. But I think they put... I'm just going to finish this one, sorry. They put stabs of it in there that were ambiguous. Like, yeah, that might have been like a feministic thing. It might have just been a coincidence. Like, they just all happened to be girls. And then there were a few other little bits. Like, there was one line in there about doing it for the little 8-year-old girls sitting in their bedrooms. And it's like, it's a nice sounding line, sure, but it blurred the entire motivation of the film.
So I disagree with
That
you guys can.
awful take. Nah, just shutting you down. No, and that's not.
Yeah,
but
this is pretty much how the argument
I completely disagree in every sense you said.
My thing is, if they tried to push it, it would have had the Ghostbusters feel. This way
no,
it felt
absolutely.
natural.
They should. It wouldn't have been
it was there as throwaway lines, but it made sense in the fact that it was a group of girls.
Well, you gotta
together.
ask yourself how much that sort of thing come up in a group of girls' everyday conversation. Would it come up 3 or 4 times in, a couple of weeks, in a couple of hours?
Are they robbing multi-millions of dollars from
I don't know
banks?
whether that would have brought it up more or less.
But
that's
again,
fair.
It was not noticeable.
Yeah.
It was.
These guys
George
didn't
Clooney
notice
had
it.
a scene.
I did.
What if George Clooney had a scene where he's like, this is for all the little boys out there that want to rob
wouldn't
banks?
say
You
shit.
wouldn't mention it.
Well, yeah, but that's because it doesn't have the social context, and that might be something to consider too. Because
you're looking into the social. There's no. That's
that's fair. But some people are gonna. So
if a group of girls are robbing a
nothing
bank,
else-
they're not going to be like, this is for all the boys out there.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to be like, no,
if
it's for
we
the girls
got
out
up
there.
and robbed a bank, right? It would have nothing to do with the fact that we're all boys. It's just that we're friends or whatever, right?
We literally refer to ourselves as the boys.
Yeah, but it wouldn't we wouldn't be specifically going, oh no, well, we haven't got a girl in here, we gotta throw a girl in, or it's like, oh, we gotta get some more people, but they all have to be boys. We
Put it this way,
we're just friends. We just happen to all have penis.
If we were putting together a crew, what are the odds that they would all be men?
I don't know. Let's not get into that because that's a
the
different thing. That's talking about skills and job
If there's
division
already like two to three women they knew were going to be in the group, would you not just continue that? And they even say because men draw too much attention.
Okay, yeah, there was that line too, and that line is maybe part of the problem I had with it. And again, it's objective. These two didn't think it was a problem and didn't notice it, and that might just mean 1 in every 3 people who watch this are gonna notice that and have a problem with it.
I think it's a lot lower than that.
It might be. I might just be the unlucky one. If we brought 7 of our closest friends, it might have been 1 in 10.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see anyone else that I would not pick up on.
But again, it became a big deal because we started fighting about it, but it was just in the context of everything else. It was just a bit messy. It's like, I feel like they could have put a bit more effort into maybe the writing side of things.
But the thing is, what you're asking is for them to address it more. Then it becomes a feminist statement.
No. Oh.
And it never was.
It gets tricky.
That's why.
It gets tricky because I don't... everyone's seen a movie that's pushed some sort of social agenda too much and it becomes unenjoyable. It like polarizes the audience.
The Last
and stuff.
Jedi. No, I'm kidding. That's let's not get into that.
But it polarizes the audience, causes fights and whatever. So for movie makers, having to deal with a real life thing that is out there, do it without destroying their audience and tearing it into, and maybe they choose to actually make a point of it as well. It's a tricky line to juggle.
Well, see,
and I wouldn't be able to do a better job.
My thing is, with the Ghostbusters, I thought it was unnecessary for an all-female reboot because of the way it was handled. In this, I feel like they handled it well enough that, like, it makes sense. Like, I'm
You
happy.
know what's really shitty, though? I don't know if I
we
want to
can-
get into it. But, like, I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention to the all-female reboot of Ghostbusters. But no one internally ever made too much of a point, other than maybe retaliation of the Ocean's 8, that it is an all-female thing.
My thing is, they've made 3 Ocean films with all men. Why is it?
Okay, so
I don't see
and
why
that-
we have to find a problem in it being an all-female group
Well,
in
there's
a
no
sequel.
there's no
Like,
problem.
I understand with Ghostbusters, it was a shit film, so have at it, go at it.
Yeah.
But this was a decent film, so you can't say that, like, oh, it's all women and they've ruined it.
No,
that's why
okay,
I
so
think I
can
agree.
we, like, just to clarify for my sake, are you guys suggesting that I think there's a problem with it being all women?
You're coming across that way.
Very much
I'm
so.
not, okay? My problem is that the entire motivation of the film was unclear. And that is one of the aspects. It'd be like, I have the same amount of a problem of it being about Debbie Ocean getting back at her ex, right? It threw muck into the water. It made it unclear, and they didn't.
But what about
put
Danny
enough
Ocean getting
effort.
back at his
No,
ex's
but they
new-
read it in then. We had to learn about it for the first time. The part of the problem I have is if you were watching this as a standalone movie with no context from anything ever, you've got to, like, okay, we understood it enough to get the information out. But did they act that enough? Did they script that through enough? Did they portray it enough? I don't think they did.
literally had Kate Blanchett calling her out as soon as she found out who
but
was
that's
involved.
that's a systematic scene from the other movie, but that's not part of the problem. That helped it. I'm just saying there were aspects of it, multiple aspects. There was the money side, which they didn't go into enough either. Like they put a little bit in. There was that Helen scene where they were talking about how she's actually in debt, and that was another helping factor. But they were just relying too much on the acting from the first movie, the Ocean's 11.
Are you telling me though, if you're a criminal, you're already doing bad things, and someone knocks up you and says, "I'm going to give you $16 million,"
Yeah.
and you're going to say, "You know,
No,
I don't
no,
have enough influence to do this right
no,
now."
it's more.
You're joking.
No. I'm
Put it this way: if
No,
someone
I'm
comes
not
to me
saying-
tomorrow and says $16 million, I'm becoming a criminal.
no shit. Everyone, it's
and they're already a criminal.
Yeah.
These
Yeah, no,
people are
I
criminals.
get it, guys. I get that. What I'm saying is they introduce too many things and they don't act it out completely. There was another movie recently we
What do you?
watched.
Sorry. But you said before they didn't give us enough motivation. Now you're saying they introduced too many things.
No, well, yeah, they didn't give enough to any particular motivation. They didn't sell anything. They're like, we'll throw 3 or 4 things in there and just go, the last movie did it, we can back it up.
Well, my thing that there was 2 reasons, 2 very clear-cut, clear as day reasons of one member of the crew in it for revenge. She didn't really.
Yeah.
The money's a bonus to her. She's in it for the revenge.
Yeah.
The rest are all just in it for the money.
Yeah, okay,
That's
so
all
exactly.
they're
So there's
there
2 clear-cut reasons. And then they introduce these spices of little other bits.
For. See, what spices?
Like the feminism thing.
Yeah, but that's got.
That was you. That was
No,
your
that is in
thing.
there. They've got lines addressing it. That means it's in there.
But that they didn't do the heist for feminism.
No,
That's just
never
a,
No, exactly. That's what I mean. It's either do or don't. And I understand.
What?
I don't, because you're saying
No,
they're not
I mean,
doing, they're
it's-
doing it
it's
for
just-
pheasant, but they're not doing pheasant.
No, it's just you got to commit to the delivery the whole way through the movie.
I don't
Whatever
think they
you do.
wanted to though.
Well, they put
And
something in there.
I agree with the
motivation was
point.
never feminism.
Yeah.
Never
No,
once.
I don't think it was. My problem is that they got some lines in there that, and this is obviously we've figured out that not everyone's going to interpret that way. I might be the only person on the planet. But I went in there with the social context, understanding what the movie had gone through coming up to that. Because every second article about it was like, are we going to see another Ghostbusters? Or is there going to be backlash for having all women? The first thing people point out is that it's an all-women cast, when really could have just been a cast.
But see, that's people taking issue when they don't see
No,
it
I
as an
get
issue
that.
like
But again,
that.
if you hypothetically imagine we forgot all of that and we hadn't seen the first 3 movies, if you watch that movie as a standalone movie,
It's a good film.
no, those parts are going to be awkward. And it's not a big deal. Like, it takes, like, if there were 100 points to give the movie, it might take 2 points off.
Do you want juxtaposition though? Juxtaposition is awful, and when they give you all these scenes and they're going, so not juxtaposition,
someone can have.
What is the word? I'm sorry, not juxtaposition. Similar word. Fucking the word where they just tell you everything. And
Exposition.
Exposition.
No, okay, I hate shitty exposition. We're
That
probably going to
seems
go
like
into
your
that.
fix to this movie is exposition. That seems like what you're asking for.
No, I just want strongest stronger scripting to help the acting along. The acting was good for what they had. They just didn't have enough commitment to any of the one things. And it's a tough one to explain without anyone else seeing it. And obviously we're in disagreements, and I have no problem with us disagreeing. Please, no one think that I'm that this is like the biggest drawback of the movie. We can have
Nick is now the heel of the group. I'm
reckon?
face turn. I'm a good guy now.
I don't know. Wait for next. Have we got anything else this episode?
No.
Okay. It's like what we'll do the outro. You'll probably turn another couple times in there. Look, yeah, it's not a big deal. We're having the fight because, of course, we're gonna these two are obviously gonna pick me up on anything I have to say that's political. That's how this is gonna go, boys.
I just think
but it's not a massive deal. It's just there was a little bit of a downfall, and it's a scripting problem. It's just
See, I thought the script was strong.
Maybe a reflection of the storyboard. It's just and it ultimately comes down to the fact that they're relying on the original Ocean. Similarly to how when the new Star Wars trilogy came out, the first movie was really, really similar to 4. Similar, different sort of takes, but they're relying on that one's success and then just gone, if we do the same thing, we can do it.
So put it this way,
they've
though.
missed parts within that,
I think
completing an arc for the motivation. That's gotta happen within a
If
solid
Ocean's
story.
11 didn't exist, your thing on
That
this
might
is that
be a
if
better
Oceans
movie,
didn't... No, see, but the way you've worded it is that it relies heavy on it just being Oceans, and that's what makes it a decent film. I think it's... If Oceans didn't exist and this was the first, it's a good film. Honestly, I think it might be better because it's not comparing.
Again, don't take this for more than it's worth. It's not a big issue. It's just... And to be honest, you make an interesting point. If the Ocean's 11 didn't exist, this might be a better film because there might be less to compare it to and less purist sort of conflict. But yeah, it's crutched on Ocean's 11 to some degree in there, and it's taken a little bit away from the movie for me.
I think, one, you looked way too into it, and two,
I did,
what you're asking for them to do is near impossible.
Possibly, yeah.
And I think...
Yeah, I mean, they're my
to ask
problems
them to
with the
do-
movie, and I probably wouldn't have even brought
that.
it up, except that we're going to have that conversation. But yeah, it's tricky with any movie. It's like what we're guarantee going to see these same sort of issues come from the Joker movie or Suicide Squad 2 and the Kingsman universe, including the Kick-Ass. There's going to be things that are going to be better and worse and comparable to the original movies, and we're going to have that issue. So unless every movie maker ever just gives up on making, extending a story beyond one feature-length film, which I don't want, and I don't think anyone wants, then you're going to have these problems. And like I said, it just don't take it for more than it's worth. It was a tiny little issue for me. I tried to explain myself well enough, and I'm not sure I did. But
You spent 30 minutes explaining it, so I think you got through, Nick.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a complicated one. I'm happy to just throw words out with these boys, but yeah, trying to do it publicly, a bit more of an issue. And that being said, we can have there was other problems I had with the movie. I thought Nine Ball was too gimmicky. We disagree on that as well.
No, we agree it's gimmicky, but we
I
disagree with
think
the fact
too
that that's
gimmicky.
literally what Oceans is. They're all caricatures.
Yeah, and they make
of
a
certain
good, they
heist
make
movies
they
are.
make
Yeah.
a good point with that. Yeah. And it might just be an appropriation of currentness. Drugs were so definitely illegal back then, and if you're trying to create a criminal character that you can identify with and is the protagonist, you can only give him so much bad things to do. So it's having this massive having Nine Ball as a character, now that drugs are becoming more legal and in 2-3 years no one would even blink an eye on that sort of thing. That's a fair assessment. So that gimmick's going to dissipate. So,
See, no, I don't think the gimmick was the weed smoking.
no, not the weed, just the entire character was a bit like the nine
see, it's
ball
kind
as
of-
a mouse, the only one
Yeah.
that doesn't get called. She's a caricature of herself.
No,
but they
she's a
might have been
caricature of
putting-
like a hacker stereotype, is what they've gone
Fuck
for.
off. Hacker stereotypes, the Doritos and red juice.
No, see, that's like sweaty. Like I'm talking like cool, like
well,
collected. Like you don't get to know my real name. Have a cool
the
mouse.
hacker stereotype is the Russian,
Like,
dude.
laid back.
They literally go into that. It's like we can disagree on it. That's fine. Some people are gonna like Nine Ball, some people aren't. I think Rihanna did a really good job with that role. I think they gave her just the right amount of acting for the type of actor she is. I think you guys are there on that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was a bit gimmicky. That was, and you did make a good point. I didn't really realize how gimmicky the original characters are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
they
what
were
it's-
sort of like self-contained gimmicks. Like they didn't need to draw upon anything else. They were their own gimmick, which is a bit interesting. But like, yeah, none of these are deal breakers for me though. It's all good. I just would put it below 12,
Okay, well, I guess.
and that makes me.
So
happy.
just to finish it off, we'll clear it up with. We've gone through rankings. So yours was what?
I gave it a C+.
C plus. I gave it a B minus, and you're at
C minus.
all right C minus.
Yeah.
So yeah, just show it's.
It's not. It's like any movie.
I don't think the film's as divisive as it is within this group. I think.
Yeah, I'm a massive Oceans fan. This is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I was always going to fight people about it. So,
I think
Yeah.
we'll end it there. I think that's
Yeah, it's a solid place to end it. We've
solid place to end it.
we've cleared the air.
We've nearly
Yeah.
doubled what we did last week. Which
Yeah, I
is,
know.
sorry guys.
I mean,
We might go through and tidy it up
podcasts
a
are
bit.
long, man. You can't.
Yeah.
You guys are in Sydney for a 10-minute podcast. It's not a
Yeah.
podcast list.
Well, that's right. If the conversation's still going, you kind of can't just. cut it out.
and we had a big week. We had a lot of trailers and news
Yeah.
stuff as well, and we spent a long time with that. And we only spent, I think, half an hour, 40 minutes on the movie. So
Yeah.
of course, we're going to spend a long episode. But we actually didn't spoil anything as well. So I will, if you guys,
I think
I might
there's
have-
some things
yeah.
that.
It's
I
not.
don't- there
It's
was
not big, but
I don't think there was anything.
I think there was
that
like
ruins it.
2 sentences in their big fucking deal.
If you're back here now and I'm said there's no spoilers, there might be spoilers, but I don't think there is, and I'll let you guys know in that little set where we go into the spoilers. I'll either say there's the minute where you come back and it'll be now, or you'll be right to keep on watching. But that is it for this week, guys. We've got 2 big ones coming up this week because we've got to figure out, because we've got Money in the Bank as well, which is irrelated to this channel, but that's on Monday, which will make it a lot of fun trying to pick in a movie on a Monday,
Yeah.
as well as we've got Tag and Incredibles coming out this week. So it's going to be a very, very, very hard
Big
week. So hopefully not too much movie news because we'll probably spend a little time on that. Tag probably won't spend a lot of time on because it's just an easy comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You boys
Incredibles
excited for
2,
Tag?
I am actually pretty
Yeah.
excited.
And of course, everyone in the world's excited for Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2 is going to be
Fucking great.
I need to rewatch the original. I haven't seen
I
it
did
for
it
like
the other day.
since I was a kid.
Had my 2-year-old nephew came over. Perfect excuse. Went great. Didn't have to
Nice.
do any jobs in the meantime.
Nice. All right. Yeah, but we'll be back next week with Incredibles and Tag. You guys, with nothing to plug, I'll plug my fucking YouTube. You can find it. It's at Ace Davies on YouTube. It's in the channel. So if you guys are on the channel now, check on my channel's link, and it's right there. And if you found me through Ace Davies, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
I
Or girls.
appreciate that.
Got to keep it.
I think I've had
Then again, now or others, I guess.
anyone. Don't.
People. Thank you, people.
Thank you, everyone.
Then again,
for
there might not be
listening.
people. We've boxed ourselves in.
We're doing
beings.
exactly what I said.
Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.